Alright, welcome back everyone to another replay review. So today, just going to look at a recent game that I played. Uh, One of the top players asked me did I want to play a game with him, and I said sure, I would. So we played, and my opening hand, it's not great, it's not awful. Obviously you're always happy to see credit core. There is Terractor with Earth Office, which I affectionately call Super Terractor. And that is a fun strategy, but with no other Earth tags in my hand, it's really hard to want to do this. If I had a couple more Earth tags in my hand, I think I would take Terractor over Criticore in this scenario, but not happening here. The opening hand, it's not great, like I said, but it's not the worst either. I think you always are supposed to speculate on advanced alloys. The science tag is nice, and alloys can have the extra value from alloys really can stack up if you get the production, and early on it's worth speculating on. For the same reason, you should take the power. It's not great, but power can help make alloys better because you can get minerals like building industries or whatnot from deep well heating, so I think that's fine. If I'm trying to go a science route, you could speculate on gene repair, though it is quite a speculation. Same with shuttles, but again, it's quite a speculation. And like Great Dam, it's okay, but no oceans in hand, it's pretty far away. Fusion power is nice if we can get the next power tag, but when are we finding that power tag? Do I want to gamble on it? And Open City is just so far away, I don't think it's worth the capital. I don't believe I actually end up taking fusion power, but looking at it in my current state, I think I would go Earth Office, Advanced Alloys, Deep Well Heating, and Fusion Power. I think that's the four I would take here. I think I end up taking Gene Repair though, which I'm not convinced is good personally, but let's see what I do. Yeah, I think I would swap Gene Repair with Fusion Power. Looking at the current game, on today. But it's one of the interesting things. Sometimes you just have different thoughts when it comes to what you want to speculate on. So opponent is Inventrix. They keep 3 cards, so their hand wasn't too great, but they draw 3 cards to start with, and they get Inventors Guild. So already them having card draw is a little unfortunate because I don't have a lot going on with my hand. They don't like the card though, so that's something. And the Industrial Microbes, that's a nice development card for them there. I just passed because I have nothing to do. Kind of regretting not taking the Super Director right around now. Not the Immigration Shuttles is amazing, mind you, but it would be nice to have some development play. But I think you're supposed to take Artificial. It's progress towards the Gene Repair, which I gambled on. It's power. Just more useful than the rest of these cards on average. And you don't want to give this guy a third science tag, which could turn on AI Central. That would be a disaster if he has a third science tag. And then, what do we have here? Okay, so remember how I talked about we speculate on alloys? Here we are. Now, let's make it clear. As Credicore, one of the things you love doing is standard and greeneries, and Steelworks doesn't really support the standard and greeneries line, but this is 7 production with advanced alloys. That's insane value. So you should always take Steelworks in this position, I think. Honestly, I think Brad Kim is better than Immigration Shuttles. So I take that. I mean, he can't really afford Immigration Shuttles. He has power. He has some steel. So I think you should always take Brad Kim there. And then what do we want from this hand? Honestly, we already are looking like we're on track for 4 science tags, and we're credit core, so I don't hate ICS. We're definitely taking Artificial and Steelworks, and Radchem even isn't the worst card, though I think I might want to use my energy for other things, and it'll be a long time before I can use the energy. But I end up taking 3. Interstellar I took for the reasons I mentioned, but at the same time, I think it's also a large gamble on a card that's a little mediocre. But the reason I think it's worth the gamble is I already have Earth Office, so -3, but I have to pay 1, so -2. We'll say -4 for Credit Core is -6. 18 for 4 points? +3. 21 for 4 points? That's still really efficient, so I think it's still worth the gamble in this situation. And they don't like any of their cards, which is very interesting. So they play Electrocat. That's a very nice card for them. I assume that was the entire point behind them playing the Industrial Microbes. So fantastic start for them getting Electrocat down. Uh, our start is not quite as good, but we're going to make it work because we're going to just get our 3 power going, and then we're going to standard a power and pray they don't have energy tapping, because energy tapping is absolutely brutal. But then they play Tech Stress, which is very interesting. Why do they want 3 power here? Could mean like water splitting plant potential, except they are Inventrix, so they don't need the 2 oceans. They could just play that. Could also be Dev Center. Could also be they just want energy for something else and figured let's let it start rolling over to heat. I'm not really sure what the reason is. Sorry about my dog, by the way. Loves walking around when he hears my voice, I guess. But anyway, I standard a power, and that's all I'm going to do. Luckily, they pass. No energy tapping. And so, okay. I definitely think you're supposed to take NRA here, because the other cards aren't that good. But just to be clear, the NRA is not looking that good, because I'm about to turn on an oxygen bumper, so the oxygen is going to start flying, and the plants you get from NRA are going to be much less valuable. Still the best card, so you still take it, but explaining my reasoning there. Definitely Invention Contest is the best card here. You want to see if you can find something else. Opponent has 2 cards, though they do have some card draw. And it's in our best interest to do our best to not let them get a bunch of cards to help refill their hand. Dog, you mind sitting now? Do you have to keep walking around as soon as I'm recording a video? Alright. I am surprised to see Immigrant City coming back. He took wave power, which means he's looking for 1 more power. Is he trying to get a bumper online himself? I don't really know how to interpret that, but I should not pass Immigrant City back to him, I think. And it's not even bad for me. I have steel coming in from Steelworks that's alloyed. Later on in the game, I can then just stop using Steelworks and drop the Immigrant City. Seems fine to me. So I think I would take all 3 of these, Invention, Immigrant, and NRA. Yep. And a bump and we will go. Start using it. And he sells the steel and plays the Dev Center. Okay, so it was Dev Center. That was his idea. I pass. There's no point in playing alloys. I could find Mars U. There's nothing else I want to play with the steel. I think it's too soon for Invention Contest. Again, I can find discounts. I can find Mars U. I can find Olympus. I can find Media. There's too many good things to risk playing the card right now, and I won't do that much with it anyway. So just pass and pray no energy tapping. He's drawing cards. He's not liking the cards from Inventors Guild, which is a mercy. But he has 2 card draw and Electrocat, so I'm not loving my position, but I think it's decent now that I have the oxygen bumper online. Okay, he plays power plant. He still is not going to go for a bumper, I think, because 4 energy, but it's getting interesting. Alright, and speaking of interesting, wow, what a pack. I would love all 4 of these as Criticore. In this position, I tend to think you should go the most generically good route, and the most generically good route is get some heat production to get some terraforming to help push the game along and get some scoring when your opponent already has 2 card draw. And so I think you're supposed to take Molehole Area. I get Criticore discount on it. I get Advanced Alloys, steel value towards it. I think that's the best card here. And then, oof, okay. I have Advanced Alloys. I think you have to take the Asteroid Mining. You get, again, the -4 as Criticore. You get the Alloys value. It's 8 production and 2 victory points. It's too good to take. The problem is, there's a Heat Trappers here. And Heat Trappers directly counters this Molehole Area I just picked up, which is incredibly sad. So really, my hope here is that I take Asteroid Mining, he takes Lake Marineris, I get Heat Trappers. And as good a card as Lake Marineris is, I'd rather get the value from Molehole Area and not immediately be hit by Heat Trappers. Okay, he takes Ice Asteroid. I think it's a clear nuke zone with Earth Office in hand. The Dome Crater is also quite good for me. And dadgummit, no, he took the Heat Trappers. So the fact he took Heat Trappers to me says that I can't really play Molehole Area, right? He doesn't know I have it. Maybe he doesn't keep Heat Trappers, but the odds are he does. He's a good player. He knows Heat Trappers is super brutal in two-player game. And I can only keep 3 cards anyway because I want to play Asteroid Mining here. And so Nuke Zone, Asteroid Mining, Lake Marineris, and just skip on the Nuke Zone is probably the correct line. Again, I really wish he had not taken the Heat Trappers, because then I could have just played Molehole Area this gen and Asteroid Mining next gen and been much happier. Wait, I know I keep Lake Marineris, right? Okay, yeah. That was me going, wait, I should really take Lake here. Phew. Glad I didn't make that mistake. So he draws his cards. Yeah. Ice Asteroid is played. Predictably, he takes the 2 cards and 2 titanium. I think a lot of players overemphasize the cards in titanium. I think 4 plants can also be extremely good, but he doesn't have a follow-up, so I think it makes a lot of sense for him just to go for the cards in titanium, as they're the 2 generically best spots. We Steelworks and we Asteroid Mining. We get pretty good production now, I would say. They still don't like their cards from Inventors Guild, so I'm very fortunate that that card draw hasn't worked out for them, but don't know the status from the dev center there. They play that wave power, so that's a little suspicious. Getting up to 5 power, I do feel like it's suggesting they have an oxygen bumper of their own here, which means that this game will accelerate on the oxygen pretty quickly. And then, oof, man. Optimal arrow braking, ridiculously good. Imported hydrogen, ridiculously good. Sponsors, ridiculously okay, because I have the Earth Office. Scary to give the guy special design, though. He's in Ventrix. Special design could just be kelp farming, just like that. So, very scary draft. I think you're supposed to take imported hydrogen, though. It's generically the best card here, and we'll be happy with whatever comes back. Okay, so there is that water splitting plant I was hypothesizing about, but again, scary to pass science. Solar wind power helps protect me from any shenanigans with energy tapping. I think that's the card you're supposed to take here. And then he takes optimal, which is expected. So discounted sponsors or risk the special design? To me, just take the sponsors. I don't think that the special design is really that good. And you can't take 3. I think 3 is the right number here. We go ahead and just keep raising oxygen up. We play the Earth Office because we're about to start playing some stuff here. And to note, this was an important part of the game. I had 12 cards. I could have chosen to not buy cards and then get the chance to take planner. But my rationale here is that it's a lot of development I lose by not playing all my Earth stuff here, that it's not worth the planner milestone. I should just develop, and then if I happen to get planners, so be it, but I should not go out of my way to do so. And I take the titanium. The titanium has value because I have alloys. That's why I did it. Certainly card could have been okay as well, but I think when you have alloys, you should go for minerals much more heavily. And he has restricted area down here on the titanium. I don't like that move very much. Yes, it is the best rebate on the board, and that is a 5 rebate for you. But it locks you into a bad spot on the board, right? This is not an excellent area of the board early on. You want to be in this area, sometimes this area early on. When you're in one of these spots, it means that your next rebates are going to be lackluster unless you have another tile, which can be hard to come by early on. If he has another tile in his hand, then completely fine. But I'm not sure he does, and so I'm a little critical on that play. Nothing more to me to do. I do like the imported hydrogen, but it doesn't make sense to play it now because I'd have to be giving up on alloys value, and that's just not worth it. Alright, so they do have their own oxygen bumper and ironworks. I think that was really expensive for them to turn online. The 18 and 8, that's 26 plus 6, unless they got it for free, but that's like 32 money to turn this on when I already have one. Oxygen's already kind of flying. I'm a bit skeptical on how good that is, but let's see how the game plays out. Okay, mining area would have been really nice for both of us prior to playing our tiles last gen, but he doesn't really have a good spot to put it. I think Lagrange is probably the most useful card here. Because again, science is a little scary when he has 4 science. If he looks to fund scientist, I can fight it with Lagrange. Turns on my gene repair. Just various reasons why I think it's Lagrange. And then, ooh, Miranda's pretty nice. I already have 3 production from it. I have plenty of titanium, so I think that's a clear pick here. Mining area, I think, is a pick here. Again, I have minerals, so it doesn't hurt for me to find a way to get some more minerals with advanced alloys value. Nuke power's cute, but not good enough, I think. So I keep 3 again. Sometimes when I watch these reviews, I think maybe keeping 3 is a little over greedy, but the cards are good. I think it's right. That's just my opinion. If I had more heat prod, I think I could be more selective, but I don't. But he is drawing still, and he does have 3 card draw, so I am on a bit of a timer here. I do need to accelerate the game a bit. So I do the invention contest. Sabotage is cute. It does slow him down a bit, but I think you have to take the Nitro Moss here. The Nitro Moss is NRA potential. Then go ahead and use the Steelworks again. They draw again. They still don't like their Inventors Guild card. And I pass. Why do I pass? It's because I have 12 cards and he has 14 cards. Well, my decision here is that there's nothing ultra worth playing here. Basically, the only thing that I consider worth playing here is the Miranda Resort, which is 3 prod. If I can take Planner, that's a pretty big swing. Gen 7 is not so early that I'm torpedoing my development, and I think 10 points could matter a lot, given that he has all this extra card draw here. So I'm just going to take the natural milestones for myself and get Planner, and then we'll see what comes from there. So we are already quickly going up on the oxygen. We are at 6%. He plays Titanium Mine and Standard Power into Building Industries. Okay, I'm a little critical on that as well. Standard Power is pretty expensive, and we already have 2 steel coming in a gen from the Ironworks and the mine, and the Industrial Microbes, sorry. And so, Building Industries, I mean, it will pay off. You do have a lot of card draw, but I feel like maybe you would have had other power, maybe. I don't know. It just seems a little expensive for your position to be doing that, but it's not the worst either. Okay, love the mining rights. Definitely take mining rights. Now I have a really nice mining rights, mining area combo here. Protected Valley? Dude, with the NRA, that's progress towards that. I have a bunch of steel lying around that's alloyed. This is like plus cash for me. I'd love the business context too, but this is like plus cash for me. So easy Protected Valley for me here. Then Grass comes back as well. I recognize I have a discount from Earth Office on that, but Grass is again progress towards NRA. And again, I think he has the Heat Trappers, so I'm not that eager to be playing Heat Production. Which is kind of the unfortunate thing about Heat Trappers and why it's such an annoying card in 2-player, is that I don't ever really want to develop Heat because he can immediately just punish me for it. And so I'm going to keep passing on it, but he also has 3 card draw, meaning the longer the game goes, the better it is for him. So I want the Heat Prod to help get me out of the game, but at this point I'm kind of having to rely on Asteroids, both the standard project and the events. And so I get Algae back. This is perfect. The risk when going for Planner like this is you're basically committing yourself to have to buy 4 cards, of which some might be a little mediocre, but I got 4 excellent cards here. Yeah, Grass, calling it excellent might be a little much, but good enough to spend for a milestone. So buy 4, open with claiming Planner, and then play the advanced alloys. And that's because my goal now is to oxygen bump, play Protected Valley, get the O2 bonus. It's so good. Yep, yoink that. Where do you put it? Obviously, it's a little tempting to go for 2 steel because, alloys, but I think you're supposed to go over here because it gives me access to this area of the map. And you know what else it does with those 2 plants? It now allows me to do imported hydrogen into a conversion. He draws again. Still doesn't like the cards from Inventor's Guild. Imported hydrogen, thank you very much. Go ahead and get that conversion done. And so oxygen is really flying right now. So why did I convert there instead of here? This is 5 cash, yes, but the 2 plants matters because nitro moss is now playable. So it's very nice just to plop it down there to get nitro moss turned on. He plays mineral deposit into ironworks. I don't really understand why the mineral deposit first, but we'll see what he plays. So now we can just do an easy mining area there for the cash back. And now we can mining rights. I think I do it down here on the 2 steel. Yeah, that gives me access to the cards. Well, I think that has value. Also gives me access to the steel, which is great when I have advanced alloys. He funds scientists. So yeah, I think that is correct when you have that much card draw in the lead, but it's not safe for him, right? I have 3 in hand. The gene repair is starting to look a little better, though I think it's still pretty dubious. But yeah, now I think it was right. I think he will win it. I think I was clearly winning landlord, so I think it was correct of him. I probably should have funded myself, but whatever. But the scary thing for him is I actually am starting to threaten builder, but lucky for him, I don't have any building tags in hand to actually take builder. But that fund could have been a throw if I had 3 more building tags. And he plays Space Elevator. So, okay, maybe not a throw. He sells the steel now, and then he can claim builder, and that makes enough sense. I go ahead and just solar wind power to play around energy tapping shenanigans. Use the titanium for Lagrange. See if I can find a building tag. I do. I'm so close to taking builder from them, but they're going to probably claim it here. Space Elevator. Lightning Harvest. Okay, that's greedy. That is extremely greedy on my opponent's part. Why do you need the Lightning Harvest? That energy's not doing much for you here. And in comparison, you possibly just gave up your milestone. But luckily for them, I don't have the last building tag, nor do I really have the money. So I go ahead and play Miranda Resort. Just go ahead and get that production. Play the Nitro Moss. Probably should play MedLab as well here, but I pass. So that's fine. Okay. Scientist was funded. I'm at 6 science tags. You got to take the anti-grav. My opponent has 3 card draw. Definitely can't give them that. It is very sad to give them a Jovian molt. It is a potential with this much card draw as the Jovian discount. Jovians can start stacking up and be dangerous, but if they do that, at least I get Business Network to get some card draw to go along with my anti-grav. And so that was my thought in that draft. Clear Noctis City for me. I have a bunch of steel. Decomposers is okay, but the Noctis City point just seems much better with the extra steel coming in here. I do, in fact, get the Business Network, so take the card draw with the anti-grav. And you can honestly buy all. I need the power from Windmills to play both Noctis City and Immigrant City here. And they take the builder. Sad that I couldn't take it from them, but it was always a long shot. Go ahead and raise the oxygen up and just drop down the Immigrant City. Start reserving some locations around the board. Make my MedLab better for when I play it. And now they're selling their space elevators, so that is a reason maybe why they played the building industries, by the way, is to get the extra steel so that they can sell 2 steel gin. So from that perspective, maybe it makes a little more sense. But they definitely have a scary long game setup. They've got 12 cash gin, I guess really 8 cash because you're selling the steel. They have 3 card draw. It's but luckily not too much else going on. Relatively speaking, they're still kind of poor. They have the cash coming in from their Electrocat and Space Elevator, so they're not really as poor as they look. But for instance, I have 13 more cash coming in at gin. Plus my stuff here is alloyed. Plus I have plants. So I think right now I'm looking overall better. But the card draw will definitely swing it in the long term. So I am on a timer still. But I have some card draw of my own finally, and I find designed. So, real talk, design's not very good here, but it is a science tag towards scientist, and it is anti-graph, so I decided I'm going to speculate on it. I think this is a mistake. I knew it wasn't very good at the time. I just thought, ooh, but scientist, ooh, but I want to make sure I play anti-graph, but I should have stuck to my guns and just said, no, I have to find better. But I do buy it, and I do believe that's a mistake. Ironworks going up. That open city in my opening hand's looking a lot better now than it did then. But that's the way it is. Go ahead and play the windmills. Just go ahead and stay safe from energy tapping or power supply consortium. Get the med lab down for 4 production. It is a little sad to play that with all cash, but I have Noctis as a steel dump for later. Okay, and there we are, AI Central. So now I'm really on a timer because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card draw a generation. That is spooky. Go ahead and play Gene Repair. I'm working towards anti-grav, so might as well get the 2 production. But it is kind of a losing battle to be playing for engine, like anti-grav and that stuff, when your opponent has 5 card draw. They have 20 cards to my 8. This is not where you want to be. They sell 3 of them, though. To do what? Mass converter. Oh, excellent. Well, that's incredibly scary as well. Real talk, I think mangrove is really good, but I think fish is probably even better. I am aware I passed them wife at this point, but I also am looking at their cash and seeing 27 cash for titanium. It's going to be like their entire gen to play IO mining. I don't think IO mining is particularly strong here, so I think you take fish because the 1-point animal. There's a lot of ways they could make that a lot better. I take the mangrove? Really? That's a mistake. I should have taken the fish. So there's me disagreeing with my past self quite a lot. Equatorial Magnetizer, they just played the Mass Converter. Do not give them extra TR from that card, so definitely cut that. They did give me fish back. They did take the IO. I think that is questionable, but it does depend on what their hand is. But now I am aware, okay, they have 2 Jove molts. Jovians are a big threat for me right now. And we just take those 2. Steelworks to grab the O2 while I can. It is tempting to SP a greenery, but it's just too far out of my way. Pets. Pets is looking actually like it could be pretty good. I could see cities filling up the board here. So I do think I'm supposed to take pets. I have to kind of play a weird mid-range where I need to push the game along quickly, but I also need to get all the points I can. They're drawing, they get the ironworks, take the last of the O2, makes sense. I have to fund Landlord here. I don't think I'm winning anything else with the Mass Converter play. They're winning Thermalist now too. Banker I'm winning, but it's scary. They could always easily flip it with the 5 cards extra they're seeing a gen, and you never want to fund Miner when you have advanced alloys and your opponent is matching your production. So, gotta fund Landlord, and then play the pets. Just go ahead and preemptively get around the cities coming down, and I'm probably going to play the Noctis City here myself. Oh, I'm standarding the Asteroid in order to take the Terraformer Milestone. Sure, that makes enough sense. It doesn't make sense to SP a greenery for it. And I am at risk that they could try and steal it from me. So yeah, I like the SP Asteroid. It gets me the heat to get 1 extra heat next gen as well, so, it's not even that bad. But it does open me up to the heat trappers, but Gen 9, I doubt that they kept it at this point. Space Elevator, I pass, they draw, they still don't like their cards from Inventors Guild. Small Mercies, Space Stations, now they're stacking up the space discounts. They have, -4 to space, and I know they have some Joves, so I imagine they're about to play it. They sold 2, yeah, sure enough, there's the IO Mining Industries. So they are going to try and go Joves. I think this is a mistake. I don't know their hand. If they have a whole bunch of Joves in there, it could be okay. But a Gen 9 IO, when you have 18, like 20 cards in hand and 5 card draw a turn, I think you find better stuff than that. So I think this was ultimately a pretty big mistake for them. Oh, TG? Yeah, you're not getting that. Absolutely not. Yeah, so that's a huge relief, and a lot of the pressure of the Joves is gone. I take Permafrost at first, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, that's so stupid. Power infrastructure is 11 cash for them. And right now, I don't want them to have the chance of using their energy for something other than pushing the end of the game. That needs to be worthless for them because they don't want to push the game. Or, push the game and help me out. But if I give them power infrastructure, that gets rid of that quandary. So luckily I realized my mistake and go, whew, take that back. Don't get power infrastructure. That's such a good card for them. Lichen is NRA. Though Grass is coming online soon, I think that I'd rather just play Grass than Lichen. So I just take Terraforming Ganymede. And you might be like, wait, Terraforming Ganymede? Why? I take Terraforming Ganymede because it is 5 points to me right now. And that's not bad. 31 for 5, 32 for 5 points. That's a reasonably efficient card. And again, I'm kind of having to play mid-range. I'm not sure I can afford to just SP out here. I kind of have to just efficiently advance my game and advance the game while still having some nice point dumps in hand. So yeah, I keep the one card. They also only kept one card. Must have been their first pick. But you don't need to keep many cards when you have 5 card draw generation. Business Network gets flooding. Yeah, I take flooding. I need to push the game along still. I raise the heat. I'm planning on another SP Asteroid into NRA. They're selling their stuff and doing all that fun stuff. Flooding also gets me a conversion, which I like. Protects me. My greeneries here. I did fund Landlord, so I do need to protect them. Gets me some cash back. I still don't like the cards from Adventurers Guild. So also note here, I would like to keep getting my steel in because, it's alloyed. But the simple fact of the matter is I am on a bit of a timer because of the card draw. So at this point, the energy going over to heat, I think is better than getting, 6 cash for steel here. So I'm not going to be using my steelworks for a while here. I do use my Asteroid into Grass. That should tell the astute person that I have NRA. They play AMC, so they are trying to go Joes pretty heavily here. AMC actually is kind of annoying. It's a little late, so it's not that big a deal. But my plans of playing TG really kind of evaporate once I lose 4 production here. I was planning on NRA this gen, maybe TG, and another 2 gens, and ICS, and a couple gens. But now it's looking a lot harder to afford all this. Optimal arrow breaking, I love that, to be quite frank. Like, please play some space events and help me end the game here. I go ahead and play Noctis City because they played that, though. It spooks me. I think that they might have a way of blowing up my plants. So go ahead and play Noctis City to just get the 2 plants for a quick conversion. And it is a little bit better because I have Pets and Immigrant City feeding it as well. They play Vesta, so they really are going hard on the Joves, which finding TG was such a godsend. I don't have to worry about the full threat of the Jove Molts. The Mag Field Dome, it's kinda meh, but it's okay. Play the NRA, get that down, and that's basically it for me. So yeah, they play Comet. Yeah, they blow up some of my plants, but thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. You're helping me end the game, and I do not want to be in this game for too long here. Well, since they put down the 5th Ocean, I'll go ahead and sell 2 cards in order to play Algae. That seems pretty good. They do play their Deco, they play a Moss, and this is fine. I'm not saying plants are ever bad, but Oxygen's maxed, so how good this is greatly diminished from how it would be where an Oxygen is not maxed. They are continuing to use their Ironworks because, to them, they don't want the heat. So they don't take any of the heat. Obviously, Herbivores is insanely good for me, but I think Phobos is insanely good for them with that much TI prod, and I don't really want to give them those 3 points. With just 2 production, I don't see Herbivores being particularly good for them. And so at this point, I think I kind of have to play good card for me, excellent card for them, and focus more of my efforts on terraforming and less on getting points from Herbivores. But Herbivores is quite good. By no means should you mistake me that it's there. But I think this is just a case of this Titanium is too scary. Plantation's good. Hired Raiders probably a little better, but I don't have a steel target in hand, so I think I'm supposed to just take efficient points and landlord stuff from them with Deco. Also, yeah, farming is good for the last generation, so it does make sense to take farming over plantation as well. GHG factories, I think, is a keep. I do have my steel. I'm currently at 13 heat with GHG factories. It gets me to 17 heat, so I basically am spending 14 minus 6, so that's 8 for a heat bump this gen, and probably one more since it looks like it could go gen 13. So I think it's worth the GHG take here. So Phobos is too far out of the way. I think Plantation is too far out of the way. GHG is fine. Farming is okay. But I also need to be a little bit disciplined because I do need to end, so I just keep the GHG factories. I think any more, and I'm just in a bad spot because he has so much card draw. Go ahead and convert, just take some rebates, and play the GHG factories so that he can't hit me with the hired raiders for my steal. He draws. I find large convoy. So this is an interesting point. Yes, large convoy does help me terraform. However, it is like twice as much as SP Ocean. But I have fish, so it's an amazing point dump for me. But I already have amazing titanium point dumps. And with my titanium cut in half, I'm not sure I can afford all of this. So it's a question on, is this potential 7-point card better than this stuff? And I think the answer is yes. So I keep it. I won't say I'm sure that's correct, though. And at this point, I just need to start SPing some asteroids, to be quite frank. I'm up 20 points, so I need to kind of get out of the game before these 20 cards can turn into more than 20 points and wipe the floor with me. He does his selling stuff, he does his drawing stuff. I'm kind of glossing over his actions because it's the same stuff over and over. Blah, 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 see? Blah, 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 blah. I pass. There's nothing more for me to do. I don't want to give him the free ocean. If he wants it, he's going to have to use some heat to actually line up for it since he's going into first player position. He draws. He plays viral. You hate to see that. That's a very good card. Makes the deco better. If he has Eco Zone, he can get 4 cash back. Bunch of points. Scary position to be in. He plays birds. That does tell me he doesn't have Eco Zone, which... that's a sigh of relief, but birds is quite annoying to be hit by. That is definitely one of the best cards he could have. And then he plays trees. Okay, trees is incredible too, but not that incredible, right? Because auction's already maxed. So this is, 3 points max. So like it's fine, but it's not like crazy scary. Then he plays the heat trappers. I had to heat all this time, dude, and you only now decide to play it, seeing the threat? I don't know. I think you should have played it a long time ago if you had it all this time. But, okay, you got me. I'm now 1 heat short. So, praying for the GHG card that comes with 3 heat. Okay. I love insects. Can't give him Eco Zone. Absolutely not. So we take the Eco Zone here. He has Viral, he has Deco. It's too good. And then immediately advance ecosystems. Are you joking? Alright, take that. Then Protected Habs, I guess. I don't think any... Virus is the only card that would justify taking Protected Habs. I don't think it's good enough. So, remember how I said I think Microbes was a mistake? It was, because I never got around to playing it. On the flip side, having that microbe tag would be real nice right now, because I currently don't have a way of playing advanced ecosystems. But I think Ecozone and Ecosystems could still be good enough, but I also need to end because 5 card draw is still scary. So ultimately, I decide no, I think I have to skip them all. But that's a really hard decision. I don't know if it's right, but I think it's a decision I had to make. They do play the virus, so I'm glad I didn't keep the protected habs. It would have been worthless. Very annoying to lose the plants, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. Oxygen's maxed. I just need to end in a reasonable time frame. That's the only thing at hand here. They fund Thermalus, so yeah, as I said, they really don't want to spend their heat, and which is wise of them. But me cutting the power infrastructure was so huge because most of their energy has to go over to heat with no real use other than 5 victory points, which they pretty much had anyway. Adaptation tech for anti-grav, a little tempting. I do go for it because it puts me ahead on scientists, and that makes things awkward for them. I think it's a little expensive. I think there's definitely an argument to be made not to do this, but at the same time, since Scientist is around and I am fighting it, I think it is reasonable. I take my heat. I set up for the ocean bonus. Some of you might be saying, but Thread, he can just take it now. Absolutely he can. I pray he does, because I want out and he does not. So when you're in this type of position, it's always good to set up things to say, hey, it can be yours if the price is right. Take it, and then they're immediately letting you end the game, and it's bad for them to do. So he is a good player. He knows not to do anything stupid like that. So okay, fine, I'll take it. I take the ocean. I do it up there. The reason I do it up there is because if I do it down here, he could hit me with, I think I passed in the industrial center. Now I don't want to make that too good. I want to do like Lake Marineris into convert right there instead. I draw subres from the ocean, which is pretty funny. But I don't think subres is necessarily better than large convoy, but it is an alternative option I should keep in mind now. I decide to go ahead and do the adaptation into antigrav. This is a bit of an expensive detour, but I can kind of see I'm not ending this gen, and I am ending next gen, so it just makes sense to go for the points here and flipping scientist. But the flip of scientist, I'm now 30 points up, so this now puts pressure on him to have to play some space tags. He plays media with his optimal. He takes my steel with his media group, which I am so thankful for because I have no use for my steel. So I go ahead and play the fish, hit his plant prod, draw some animals. He does all his action stuff, blah blah blah. I'm done. He plays corporate stronghold. It's okay. It does give me a pet, though. It gives me an income, though. It's -2 victory points for him, though. It's going to surround it with some greeneries. Yeah, he'll probably get at least 2, maybe 3. I did pass him the insects, but, I mean, it's kind of expensive in terms of what he's giving me and the points he's costing himself for, like, 2 points. I don't think it's particularly good here. Oh, he has it. He has the imported GHG. No, my heat. That's the one card I wanted more than just about anything else, and he found it. He plays the Herbies. I passed them, yeah. Fair enough. Plays the greenhouses. That's a decent card. He can go ahead and start converting around his city, which is good. He goes for the card. Sure. He sells off 4 cards, plays the insects for 3 production. Yeah, so all pretty good. Like I said, looks like 2 points in the city. I just think it's a bit expensive of money spent for what he got. And notice 17 titanium. I don't know, I'm pretty sure he has the wife still at least. So I think he's just banking it up for the future in case he finds more space discounts. Rad Suits is the only card that has a victory point on it, so it's the only one that matters. We take that. Indentured Workers can be quite good. Underground City, however, is kind of good for him. It's kind of good for me too. But Indentured Workers could help me play one of my big point bombs here, and he has Media Group. So it's tough. Ultimately, I decide I think that the Indentured Workers is a little bit better, because there's not really that many good city spots. Like there's one here for 2 victory points, but That's a lot of money for 2 victory points for him. And so now I kind of do the money calculation, and I think with indentured workers, this works out to be best. So I go ahead and do Lake Marineris to get the cash back, and then I can just immediately convert in the 6 pocket, and I'm very happy about that. I do give him a 6 pocket of his own, which I'm a little sad about, but what you gonna do? He converts there himself and gets the Irby's point. So again, I'm up 30 points. So do I know I'm winning? No. He has 15 cards in hand, and he has, doing some quick math here, 51 cash of titanium just laying around. He has discounts to his space, so he could certainly find ways to overcome me. But in terms of Jove points, he doesn't have all the molds. I know that. I found the TG. He doesn't have large convoy. He doesn't have ICS. He could have imported nitrogen. That would be a strong point scoring card for him. But in terms of what he can do with this titanium, it's hard to imagine him getting enough points to overcome a 30-point gap. However, that is with Scientist flipped. I do have to assume that Scientist is getting flipped, so it's only a 20-point gap. But again, can he overcome a 20-point gap? Again, I lean towards no. I don't think he can. And to be honest, he has 5-card draw turn. It's not getting any better for me if I stick it out any longer. So I need to end this game, this generation. So with that in mind, go ahead and draw my card. Energy savings kind of useless. And then take the heat. Just move forward. He draws some more. And now I just need the large convoy. Why am I large convoying first? It's because large convoy is going to draw me 2 cards, and I'm hoping that with those 2 cards drawn, it will find me something to raise the heat more efficiently, like lava flows. I do it there for 4 cash back. The cash can always matter in this situation. I do find Eos. Eos is very interesting here, and it makes me sad he did take my steel in the previous generation. But 7-point card, get 4 cash back because I'm credit core, so you gotta enjoy that. But I go ahead and sell because I don't know what I want to do right now. He still doesn't like the cards from the Inventors Guild. Did he like a card from the Inventors Guild this entire game? Like, that's 12 mega credits for nothing. That's kind of sad. I feel bad for him about that one. Plays Tech Demo, though, for 1 cash and gets 6 cash back. So 5 cash, 3 heat, draw 2 cards. Pretty good. And that's what I'm saying, right? At this point, it's clear he has the better engine. I have a lead. I just have to end and hope it's enough. So SP Asteroids, he does his selling. He does his ironwork stuff. And that is a small mistake on my part, by the way. Because I played the GHG factories for the heat, I thought it would be worth it in terms of getting me the extra heat, though the heat trappers kind of ruined that for me. It would have been nice if I'd had 4 energy, because in the final generation, I could then use my steelworks to get an extra 6 cash, which would be pretty clutch. But I didn't, I don't, so is what it is. Now, you might be asking, why are you not SPing the last asteroid? It's because I don't want to. That's 14 for a point. If he wants to take the heat, be my guest. I'll just play like TG or ICS or something like that. Please don't make me SP this asteroid. But no, he's saying I'm gonna make you squirm. So alright, I'm gonna keep selling off here. And he keeps selling off. I'm never gonna outstall him. He has 15 cards in hand. So I SP the asteroid, play around any chance of sabotage. And I go ahead and sell my ICS. The ICS I speculated on so long ago, I just can't afford it. The AMC crippled me too much. And I calculated that Eos is going to get me enough plants to get another conversion. I can play mangrove with it as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for these two. Where ICS was just 4. So it's better to do these two. They play the research, dadgummit. They swapped scientists, but we always knew that was kind of happening. Not that surprising. Play indentured workers, play the mangrove on the steel. The steel gets me enough money that I can now afford to do Eos. Earth Catapult. So I am very skeptical on playing Earth Catapult in the last generation. I don't know his hand. We'll see what he's got, but that seems pretty expensive for 2 points here. Let's see. Okay, import advanced GHG for 1 titanium, so it's kind of free, getting him another 6 cash back. A little obnoxious. Eos comes down, I go ahead and add it to my fish, and I go ahead and convert. Nice. So probe, yeah, he always had the scientist flip. Media archives, that's pretty nice to get some cash back. So, yeah, it's like probe and media is 4 cash he saved off EarthCat. I'm going to try and do a count on it because I didn't do it during the game. Trying to figure out what they want to do. Not quite able to figure it out. So there's the wife, so that's 6 cash they've saved. There's the methane, so that's 8 cash they've saved. Electrocat selling plant makes sense because it doesn't change their conversion. Rover construction, that's 10 cash they've saved. Ganymede colony, that's 12 cash they've saved. Though it gets me a pets, which I don't think is that enough. Yeah, so that gets me another point. So go pets. And then predators. Oh, you jerk. Those are my fish. The fish's natural enemy, the bear. So, like, that's 12 cash they've saved now. In Soil Factory, 14 cash. Tropical Resort, 16 cash. So, it ended up being like 7 cash for 2 points. So, it probably was fine. But, I mean, if they'd had this earlier, I think I'd have been a dead man. They just had too much card draw. Any sort of discount, I think, propels them to being too much for me to catch. But as it is, 48 heat banked up is not very good for your scoring. Though they did manage to spend all their titanium, which is quite good. But at the end of the day, it's just too slow. They were not able to convert their card draw into meaningful development early enough, and as a result, I was able to end the game with enough points to get the dub. So I get the conversion, he gets the conversion as well, so yeah, that ended up being 2 points. Again, I'm a little skeptical that was worth it. And the score is tallied up. Well, it should be. Come on, game. Ooh, it's crawling. Okay. There we go. So, takeaways from this game. Gen 13, you can see how painful it is. I never found any heat event except for NRA, which barely counts as a heat event, meaning I had to basically SP all of this on my own. Nuke Zone helped out a little bit. But my opponent, he made a misplay with Comet. I think Comet was bad. But aside from that, he didn't play any other of the space events, really. He basically said, yeah, you got to end on your own. So that's what helped make it go Gen 13, and it's what made it really difficult. I imagine he drew most of them from his card draw here. So that's why heat production is so good, because heat production early on means I don't need to find those asteroids to end the game efficiently, because I didn't keep count of the SP asteroids. If one of you nerds wants to do it, feel free. But I think I had the SP asteroid probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably like 9 times. Like, that's over 100 cash I had to spend just ending the game. Very inefficient. Also, alloys is always worth the spec, I think, early on. Especially in base game, you can see how clutch the alloys was with the steelworks. Also, never underestimate an early oxygen bumper. When you have not a great hand, an early oxygen bumper is incredible. Keep Also want to keep in mind how annoying Heat Trappers is and how it basically warped the whole game around it here. I couldn't play that mole hole area early on, which made it so I couldn't end the game easily because he kept the Heat Trappers and would have played it on me. So that was very annoying. I think Lake still was worth it ultimately. Getting that in return was extremely valuable since I got to play it for full value, but it was very, very annoying. And also, be careful of opportunity costs. I truly think this IO that he played in like Gen 8, Gen 9 really set him back on his development this game. I think he would probably score better if he had not done that. I don't know his hand. It could be it was completely correct, but I think that was a huge mistake. I mean, yes, it was, 6 points by itself, and then it also contributed to 2 others, so you could call it 8 points. So like it's 8 points by itself. That's pretty efficient. But again, the opportunity cost is something you have to keep in mind, and so I don't really think it was worth it. But if he had TG, I think then I could lose. So that could have been pretty bad. So I am glad he did not have TG. I found that in the draft, and he did not find it with his 5-card draw. So that's really all I had to discuss about this game. I think it's a pretty good example of how Oxygen Bumper can help facilitate your development, and then how you have to recognize that you're not winning the long game, so you need to start pushing the parameter pretty aggressively while denying your opponent lines of scoring, while finding lines of scoring of your own here. If you guys have any games that you would like to submit to me, I am happy to take a look at them for a potential review if they're interesting. I think I have 1 or 2 in the queue right now, so if you guys have any more you want me to review, feel free. Also, go and give congratulations to my opponent here. He lost some elo after our game, but I saw today he climbed up to master rank, got above 700 elo, so well done to him. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.